Okay. My name is Mary Wacker, and I want to talk a little bit about the project that I am undertaking that I'm calling I'm Not Sure I'm That Interesting, Exploring the Extraordinary Life of Virginia Keefe. Virginia Keefe is an 87-year-old woman. She's lived through some incredible things and has quite an extraordinary story to tell. My interest in this topic really started with a project that is ongoing for me, and that is to write the memoirs of women of all ages. And I've done a few, but I really haven't done a project with anyone of this age. My interest in a woman of this age really came from something my grandmother told me after she turned 80 years old. She turned to us and said, "Now that I'm 80, I can tell people exactly what I think of them." And that stuck with me because I thought she spent 80 years withholding something, not sharing perhaps family secrets or feelings that she felt were inappropriate for her to share. And that's a lot of burying things underneath your feelings. So it was my hope that in choosing Virginia, who is over 80 and maybe has had that same realization, that there are things in her life that she will open up and share for the first time. That's interesting in general, because I think women don't get asked very much about their lives, and thus the title, I'm Not Sure I'm That Interesting, came from what Virginia said to me when I asked her if she would be the subject of this documentary. She doesn't think that she's that interesting, but she has lived through some hard times and has done some extraordinary things. The arc within the story, beyond just the story of her life, is that she, at the age of 50, took in her 2-year-old grandnephew and raised him as her own child all the way until he graduated from high school. He's now 37 years old, and they're extremely close. She's really the mother that he knows, because his own mother had some tremendous hardships in her life. His mother is Virginia's niece, and actually was raised in the home where Virginia was raised. And in many ways, Virginia was a surrogate mother to Fran, Sean's mother. But she made a conscious decision at a time in her life when she didn't really have to take on the incredible responsibility of raising a child. She had no children of her own. She'd been recently widowed. But she took Sean in one summer when he was 2, and he never left. And theirs is a story of mutual support and love and care, and it hasn't always been easy, I'm sure, on either side, but within their story is the story of how families take care of one another, and the culture of her Polish-American family is seen in the way her mother took in extended family members, and people took care of each other in another place, in another time. To complete the project, I have started with an extensive kind of background interview with Virginia that I did on audio tape and took some still photos. I'll be going back to get some video footage. I hope to follow her around in some of her local haunts to get some B-roll footage, and I'll be interviewing Sean as well, both with Virginia, and then hopefully I'll get down to Chicago and get to interview him in his own home, which is the home Virginia grew up in Chicago, and on his own without her present. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for what it will add to what I hope will be a long-term project for me. But the audience for something like this begins with the family unit itself, and creating a keepsake for a family that may not ask these questions of each other, or may not be willing to share the answers. Hopefully with the camera and the right questions, I'll be able to create a keepsake to do what Sean asked me to do, which is to immortalize this woman that he loves. So wish me luck. I look forward to getting some good video footage, hopefully getting some vintage photos from her, and of course using her own voice in audio combined with stills of the place where she's lived for the last 40 years. So that's my project.